Today is 386 day that I come here to share lessons that I learn and I'm learning, and I hope those lessons will support your dreams, your goals, and allow you to become the person that you want to become. Today I want to bring the topic change. I truly believe that change is one of the most important topics of all, because everything in life is changing and you need to change along the way with life. People are afraid of change because they always know that comfort zone is much more comfortable, but if you want to change and grow yourself, you need to do the things that you never did. Because I love it saying that if you want to have what you never had, you need to do the things that you never did. And that means if you want to do the things that you never did, you need to change, you need to grow yourself, because sometimes you're not comfortable to do something and you will need to stretch your comfort zone to be able to do that. There's a lot of things that people are not happy about. They have a lot of problems, but until you change, you're not able to solve them. And it's one thing that's very interesting for me, because people are willing to stay with their problems and they are not willing to change. So it says that it's much more comfortable with the problem than a potential solution. But if you really want to solve the problem, you will need to change something. That means let's learn how to change. And today I want to speak about how to change in a team, with a team, because if you're a leader, you need to bring change in a team. And I was listening to John C. Maxwell, and he was sharing one acronym, plan ahead, and said that this is one of the ways how you're supposed to bring change in your team. So I will share what plan ahead stands for by John C. Maxwell. So P stands for predetermine. So that means that you need to predetermine what change it will be. That means that every single person needs to know exactly what will need to be changed. Because a lot of times people say, okay, we need to change. But if you do not know exactly what to change, that means that you will not change the right things, because you need to focus on the right change, because any random change will not work. If you want to solve a problem, you need to work on the right changes, not just random changes. So predetermined change is very, very important. The second letter, L, stands for lay out your steps. So that means when you lay out the steps, you know exactly what kind of steps it will require to make that change happen. Because when you think about change, that means a lot of times you will need to have multiple things done before you're able to fully change. So what are those steps to change? So that means you lay out your steps and know exactly what to do, and you feel comfortable taking those steps, because everything in life is steps. If you want to go from first floor to second floor, there will be a lot of steps that you'll need to take to get to the second floor. Now, next letter, A, stands for adjust your priorities. That means that if you really want to change, you will need to adjust what you care about. Because a lot of times, because your priorities take so much time, you need to subtract something out that you could be able to focus more on priorities that really matters, to be able to change something. Sometimes you need to, most people are looking how to add something, but when you really want to change something, sometimes it's just better to subtract something. And if you need to add something, you're able to add something, but first you subtract, work on your priorities, and start working more on, and you focus more time on the priorities that really matters. Then the fourth letter, N, from plan, is notify key people. That is very, very important. When you have a team, you always need to notify your people, because if they do not know what will be required of them, that means that they will not be able to do the best job. So that means you always need to notify the people. And sometimes it could be that you need to notify the people because you're not key decision maker, or you need to make decision together with some people. So that means you make sure that you include in decision making those people who must be notified, because every change will be included in your change, because there's a lot of stakeholders who will be impacted by that decision to change. Now let's move to other word, ahead, and the first letter, A, stands for allow time for acceptance. So when you notify the team and they know what kind of change will happen, that means that they need to have some time to accept it. Because when you think about change, a lot of times people spend hours and hours, sometimes even weeks, to consider what could be the best change possible for that specific problem. Because you spend so much time and you know from inside out that problem and that change, you understand that very well. And that means that you are thinking that the team's supposed to catch up right away, but no, that's not how it works. You need to give them time to rethink the change as well. So that means you always give some time and allow them to accept the change. Now, next letter H stands for head into action. You can think all day long, but until you start taking action, no change will occur. So that means you always first think, okay, what kind of actions could we take to move forward? So they always move to action right away as soon as possible, because action gives you a lot of material to rethink, reconsider, and adjust. So next letter is expect problems. So that means that's exactly what it is. When you go straight into action, a lot of times you will find that something will not work as a plan. There's a lot of things that you thought it will be one way, but it happens that it's totally different. So that means you need to expect that. And when you expect that, you're able to explain to your team that I know that there will be some kind of problems, and this is what the worst case scenario could happen, and this is what we'll do. And when you explain your team that you know and you thought it through what will happen worst case scenario, team is more willing to jump in on the change. The next letter is always point to the successes. So that means when we change, so a lot of times that change feels very, very uncomfortable, and people times make a lot of mistakes. So that means we always need to focus on those small wins, because small wins encourage people to really work harder and harder and harder, because what you appreciates. If you appreciate all small wins, you have more and more of those wins. So it's very important to always point to successes. And then last letter, D, from plan ahead, is daily review your progress. That is very, very important. How are you supposed to know where you are if you're not able to review your progress? So when you review your progress on a daily basis, you say, okay, we are growing, we're moving forward, and we are able to move forward. And if you're not moving forward, that means you're able to switch, adjust, pivot, and move forward. So this plan ahead, I truly believe this is a very great way how to work with the team and implement new changes. Because if you really want to have a very strong team, if you want to be a very strong person, you need to change, you need to grow, you need to improve. And one of the best way is to plan ahead. I hope you choose to win, and see you tomorrow.